The salt in the air, the rhythmic crash of the waves, and the proud sight of Spanish sailors standing tall against the horizon, these images capture more than a picturesque moment. They embody a nation's gratitude to those who serve with unwavering courage. When Princess Leonor joined King Felipe to visit sailors in Mallorca, it was not merely a royal engagement. It was a profound gesture of recognition for the men and women whose dedication secures the peace and stability of Spain. The first keynote of her speech honoring service and sacrifice resonates deeply with the values of patriotism, resilience, and national unity that form the heart of Spain's identity. Every uniform tells a story of early mornings at sea, of families left behind, and of quiet acts of bravery that often go unnoticed. By honoring service and sacrifice, Princess Leonor acknowledged these unseen stories. She spoke not only to the sailors present, but also to every individual who has ever stood in defense of their country's values. The visit in Mallorca symbolized more than appreciation. It reflected an understanding that the armed forces are not distant protectors, but vital participants in the ongoing story of Spain. Each sailor represents a living thread in the tapestry of national security, and their collective service ensures the safety and freedom of millions. Princess Leonor's words carried a timeless truth. Service is not defined by uniform or rank, but by the willingness to place duty above self. For sailors, this means long months at sea, often in unpredictable conditions, maintaining readiness in the face of challenges. Their sacrifice extends beyond the physical hardships. It includes emotional endurance, time away from loved ones, and the acceptance of risks most civilians never face. By recognizing these realities, the speech transformed abstract patriotism into something deeply personal and human. Honoring such service also serves a greater purpose. It strengthens the moral bond between citizens and those who protect them. When a nation acknowledges its defenders, it reinforces trust and mutual respect. Princess Leonor's gesture, especially as a young royal, bridged generations, showing that gratitude is not reserved for tradition, but lives on as a modern value. Her presence beside King Felipe signified continuity, the legacy of respect for the armed forces passing from father to daughter, from one era of leadership to the next. In Mallorca, the sailors stood not just as members of the Navy, but as representatives of Spain's enduring spirit, disciplined, loyal, and selfless. The act of honoring them reaffirmed the importance of recognizing those who serve in silence, far from the spotlight. It reminded everyone that national security is not built solely on ships and strategies, but on human courage. In every salute exchanged and every word spoken that day, the message was clear. Spain stands strong because of those who choose to serve it, and their sacrifice will never go unappreciated. A single salute between a monarch and a sailor can speak louder than 1,000 words, a silent exchange of respect, duty, and shared purpose. When Princess Leonor stood beside King Felipe during their visit to the sailors in Mallorca, that gesture symbolized far more than ceremony. It represented the enduring unity between the crown, the armed forces, and the citizens of Spain. This unity is not a matter of protocol, but of identity, a reflection of how deeply the values of loyalty, service, and togetherness are woven into the fabric of the nation. Throughout Spain's history, the monarchy has stood as both a symbol of continuity and a link between the people and the institutions that safeguard their freedom. The armed forces, in turn, represent courage, discipline, and the unwavering commitment to defend those people. When these two pillars stand together as they did on that day in Mallorca, they send a powerful message. Spain is strongest when its institutions and its citizens move forward in harmony. Princess Leonor's presence beside her father was a reminder that unity is not inherited through blood alone, but built through shared purpose and mutual respect. This connection between the crown and the military is rooted in centuries of trust. Spanish sailors have long looked to their monarchs for guidance, inspiration, and recognition. In modern times, that bond continues not through commands or decrees, but through gestures of understanding and appreciation. The king and princess's visit demonstrated that leadership is not only about authority, but about presence, being there to listen, to acknowledge, and to show that every role, from the highest throne to the lowest deck, contributes to the strength of the nation. But the unity celebrated in this moment extends beyond the monarchy and the military. It reaches into the hearts of everyday citizens. When people witness their leaders honoring the defenders of their nation, it fosters pride and confidence. It reminds them that their country is guided by values of service, respect, and cooperation. The monarchy, by engaging directly with the armed forces, helps bridge the gap between national leadership and public life, transforming the abstract idea of patriotism into something visible and real. Princess Leonor's participation carries a particularly powerful symbolism for the future. As the heir to the throne, she represents a new generation stepping forward, one that understands the importance of unity not as a historical legacy, but as a living principle. Standing beside her father among the sailors, she embodied the continuity of this national bond, ensuring that respect for the armed forces remains a cornerstone of Spanish identity for years to come. That day in Mallorca, the sea reflected not only the ships anchored in its waters, but also the spirit of a nation united in purpose. The crown, the armed forces, and the citizens they serve are connected by a shared commitment to Spain, a promise that transcends time, titles, and generations. The sea has always whispered stories to those who listen, stories of courage, discovery, and the deep bond between a people and their shores. In Mallorca, as Princess Leonor joined King Felipe to visit the sailors of Spain's navy, that ancient connection between Spain and the sea came alive once more. The third keynote of her speech, Pride in Spain's Maritime Heritage, was not just a reflection on history, but a celebration of identity. It reminded everyone that the ocean is more than a border. It is a living symbol of Spain's past, present, and future. For centuries, the sea has been Spain's gateway to the world. From the days of great explorers who carried the Spanish flag across uncharted oceans to the modern sailors who safeguard its waters, the maritime spirit has shaped the nation's character. By acknowledging this heritage, Princess Leonor celebrated not only the Navy's traditions, but the enduring relationship between the Spanish people and the sea that defines so much of their history. Mallorca, with its rich naval roots and deep blue coastline, served as the perfect backdrop, a place where the echoes of history meet the aspirations of the future. When the princess spoke of pride in Spain's maritime heritage, her words carried the weight of generations who had lived by the rhythm of the tides. Every port, every lighthouse, and every ship in the harbor tells a story of exploration, trade, defense, and endurance. The sailors she met represent a continuation of that legacy, modern guardians of a tradition built on bravery and perseverance. Her recognition of their role linked Spain's glorious seafaring past to its strong, forward-looking present. This pride in maritime heritage is not merely nostalgic, it is deeply instructive. The sea teaches lessons of unity and adaptability. It requires teamwork, patience, and the ability to navigate uncertainty. These same qualities mirror the challenges faced by Spain as a nation. By honoring its seafaring identity, Spain also honors the values that have allowed it to endure through centuries of change. Princess Leonor's acknowledgement of this heritage reflected an understanding that national pride is not built only on victories or history books, but on living traditions that continue to inspire courage and resilience. Moreover, the visit to the sailors in Mallorca symbolized how the younger generation, represented by the princess, carries forward this heritage with renewed energy. Her participation signaled a bridge between history and the future, a promise that the values of dedication, service, and love for the sea will remain at the heart of Spain's identity. Just as the tides never cease, neither does the Spanish spirit that flows through every sailor, every family connected to the coast, and every citizen who feels pride in their country's maritime soul. In that moment by the shore, surrounded by sailors and the steady rhythm of the waves, Princess Leonor reminded Spain of what it has always known. The sea is not a boundary that separates, but a bond that unites, a timeless mirror reflecting the strength, pride, and unity of the nation.